Climate change is one of the most pressing challenges facing humanity. Low and middle-income countries need significant financial support to transition to low-carbon economies and adapt to the impacts of climate change. This was highlighted at COP27, where the topic of financing of climate change adaptation and loss and damage funding was at the forefront. But where do the funds come from? And how do we make sure they reach the directly impacted by climate change in transparent, fair, and effective ways? The GSMA Climate Tech program has attempted to answer these questions by looking into the role of digital technology and innovation in the access and delivery of climate finance. My name is Leila Guisi. I'm the Insights and Advocacy Manager for the GSMA Mobile for Development's Climate Tech program, and I will be talking you through some of the findings on the topic of digitally enabled climate finance. In our research, we found that there are many different interpretations of what climate finance actually is, especially when looking at it from a public or private sector perspective. And this makes a difference because it has implications on the level, quality, and priority of investment in climate change. Climate finance is often seen as the flow of financing from developed countries to developing countries on climate change. And yes, climate finance can come from financial vehicles like the Green Climate Fund, but it can also be corporate social investment, sustainability and ESG, private capital, and net zero commitments. And it can come in the form of debt, equity, or grants. So when we talk about climate finance in this context, what we mean is simply financial flows toward climate adaptation and mitigation initiatives. In low and middle income countries, we often struggle with issues like inadequate data, rigid and underdeveloped financial systems and regulations, and a lack of climate information. These issues have all made it difficult to access and deliver climate finance. Digital technology is uniquely placed to accelerate climate finance by working as an intermediary between financial sources and vulnerable communities for better access to financing through, for example, loans and grants via mobile money. It can also work as a medium of establishing transparent and traceable systems, or as a tool for collecting precise data, which is important in making climate finance decisions, and as an enabler for vulnerable communities to participate in the carbon market. So let's talk about how this is done. There is still much we need to understand about climate finance. For example, how to make sure the funds reach communities that are the most vulnerable to the effects of climate change in fair, transparent, and effective ways. Digital technology can potentially help us with that. Here we have 6 examples of digital technology that can be used for access and delivery of climate finance. First up, we have low-tech solutions. 9 in 10 mobile money transactions in sub-Saharan Africa still flow through USSD, meaning low-tech solutions still have a huge role to play in the LMICs. Financial institutions like banks can, for example, offer financing to climate innovators through USSD. And we see this, for example, by the offering of short codes to farmers to access microloans. Mobile money in itself can be used to access services like savings, credit, insurances, remittances, and government transfers. And when we're looking at climate finance, this technology can, for example, be used through index insurance models, which offer low-cost premiums and payments via mobile money for example, crop damage in the case of excess rainfall. We also see these services being linked to credit, which can help farmers to invest in agricultural input. We also have satellite imagery, remote sensing, and GIS. And here we're talking about technology that provides information about the Earth's surface. This data can be useful, for example, in improving livelihoods in the agricultural sector by enabling crop monitoring for insurance. And although we're still in early stages of this development, blockchain has been seen to enhance the accountability and traceability of climate finance flows. For example, since many climate finance actors do not have access to the data of climate investments of the other actors, there is an increased risk of double counting and spending, and blockchain can mitigate this risk and enhance trust in carbon finance data and reporting. And next up, we have integrating IoT technologies like sensors that collect data on soil moisture, weather, and fertilization levels, which can help farmers optimize their irrigation and production. Big data is the availability of large data sets, which can be coupled with machine learning and artificial intelligence to make sense of the data, which, for example, can be useful for companies measuring ESG metrics. In our research, we looked closer into a few important digital climate finance models to get a better understanding of how this is actually being done in practice. One of them is the voluntary carbon market. What we found is that the digital technology can be useful in addressing some of the challenges that the voluntary carbon market is facing. And some of these challenges include market concerns, like it being difficult to navigate the market for new buyers, or trust issues when it comes to quality of projects, or limitation in risk management tools. Another challenge is the integrity and quality concerns, like in the case of double counting, greenwashing concerns, and lack of transparency. This is where digital technology can have the biggest impact. A number of digital platforms and tools have been developed to deal with these risks and concerns. Digital technology can, for example, through market-based platforms such as Cavex, help with capturing data to minimize errors, and digital technology like satellite imagery data can help to verify and account for data that has been collected. This is particularly true for the agricultural and natural resource management projects. And this can, for example, be done through digital measurement, reporting, and verification, or DMRV tools. Digital platforms can also help keep down some of the heavy costs that come with entering the carbon market by facilitating micro-project aggregation and speeding up the onboarding process of micro-projects to platforms. And this makes it easier for smaller projects to enter the market. They can also help with improving the market visibility for buyers and sellers. Another interesting model comes from the combination of the Internet of Things, or IoT solutions, combined with a pay-as-you-go system. These models are relatively new in the climate finance context, but show great promise as IoT technologies can be used to collect precise carbon data, which helps with the participation in the carbon market. We mostly see these solutions in the agricultural, energy, and natural resource management sectors. In the agri-sector, the combination of IoT and pay-as-you-go can provide quality data that can inform decisions on access to performance-based loans and participation in the carbon market. The combination of IoT devices and pay-as-you-go in the use of solar-based irrigation systems is an example where the continued use of utility can help build a financial profile and give underserved populations access to financial services through the help of digital technology. And by using these IoT-based systems, smallholder farmers can manage water efficiently, using solar power rather than diesel, and adapt to our changing climate. However, irrigation pumps are very costly, and this issue can be bypassed by the use of pay-as-you-go models, where farmers pay in installments and eventually own the equipment or return it at the end of the usage period. Financial service providers can use data collected by the IoT system for the farmer's activities and which can be used for financial services like loans and insurances. And this links us to fintechs, which can be efficient tools in providing climate finance by delivering financial services such as loans and insurances quickly and to a wide reach of clients, including vulnerable communities. For these types of solutions, digital technology is a key factor. AI and machine learning can be used for efficient data management and data sharing, and this can enable personal advisory services to users like smallholder farmers on their finances. And in addition to this, blockchain can also be used for monitoring and traceability purposes, which adds an extra layer of transparency. Mobile wallets can facilitate end-to-end payments, which is important in making sure that climate finance reaches the most vulnerable. It can also be used to ensure that climate financing is traceable. And lastly, fintech support the development of unified payment systems, which is a public infrastructure that can support private innovations. We have seen this, for example, in India under the National Payment Corporation of India. And this is important in the climate finance context because it helps with the traceability of climate finance flows. And there is still a lot we need to learn about climate finance. Disruptive technologies offer great promise, particularly when it comes to reaching underserved populations such as women, but they need an enabling ecosystem and financing to be successful. GSMA's Climate Tech program will continue to work in the intersection between climate finance and digital technology. And if you are working on this topic as well, or have a solution that you want to tell us about, do please reach out to us and let's continue the conversation. In the meantime, you can also access our report through our webpage or through this QR code on the screen. I want to thank you all for watching, and a special thank you to our donor FCDO and to the Center for Financial Inclusion for including us in this program. And many thanks to everyone.